Good evening, everybody. And we'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, please. Ms. Juarez?
Commissioner Butcher?
Here.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Here.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Here.
And Mayor Campos.
Here. Commissioner Sanchez will lead us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, you're all in bell. Thank you. Father, we just thank you today for giving us this opportunity to be here. Ask that you will be with us as we go through our city meeting. Thank you for each one of our commissioners, our city staff, everyone that is concerned with the city. Thank you for all the hard work they do. Ask that you will be with them as they go around doing their daily duties. Father, we ask for our men and women in uniform, wherever they may be, that you would just protect them, and thank you for helping them keep us safe. Father, as we finish this evening with our meeting, you will bless us as we go on. Help each one of us in the things we do, the things we approve of. May it be a blessing to our community, to our city. All of these things we ask, Father, in the name of Jesus, thy Son. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
You're late.
Well, I hope everybody had a great Veterans Day weekend. And once again, I want to thank all the veterans in our community, those who are present. I think we still have a couple here today. Commissioner, and you, sir, thank you. Anybody else in the audience who was a veteran? All right, well, thank you very much, guys. We still appreciate you very much. Thank you. All right. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda as submitted?
I'll make that motion. We accept the agenda as submitted.
Seconded.
We have a second. All right. Any discussion regarding the agenda? All right. Seeing that there is no discussion, we'll take it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Do I have a motion for the consideration of the regular meeting minutes of October 23rd, 2017?
I make that motion.
We have a motion.
I'll second it.
And a second. Any discussion? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll go into commissioners and staff report, starting with Mr. Duncan, the one and only.
Mayor and fellow commissioners, just like to give a brief report on the 7th and Polk drainage. They have started, they probably got almost 400 feet of curb and gutter replaced. They are moving on with some of the sidewalk and driveway prep to get the geogrid in for the stabilization like when we last meeting. And the SWIP plan was finalized last Monday for the 17th Street project, so they will start, and hopefully in the next week or two, getting the drainage portion. They're going to start on the drainage ponds, so if anything does happen, they have drainage going to the site. But as far as they are moving forward with the project.
Let me ask you about the Polk Avenue construction. How are they doing as far as schedule is concerned?
Schedule, we did have that little bit of a rain delay, but we did have that scheduled as far as the overage, but they are on time as far as what they're prospecting to have done, everything.
Okay. All right. Any questions, comments about the commission? For Mr. Duncan? No? All right. Anything else? What?
That's it, sir.
All right. Thank you. Gary?
If I may, your mayor and commissioners,
Yes, sir.
we're blessed to say that the audit, our last week of having auditors here ended last week, and our primary auditor left giving us a good review so far, and we believe that we should have the complete financials submitted to the state by December 1st, and we're on track. Things are going really well with that. We've started this week with our final phase of our in-code software conversion, and the thing that I've experienced, it seems to be common, is there's always some little glitch, but we have a really great representative here by the name of Doug that's really stepping up to the plate and just really pulling the pieces together for us. So I'm expecting it will be fully operational within the next day or two.
So when do we flip the switch?
I wanted to do it today, but I shared that there were a couple glitches. So it's dependent, of course, on how quick they can get things accomplished that need to get done.
What are those glitches?
In short, the couple of things were just more of like a scenario related to our accounts payable list, and I understood, and this was my fault, that they meant our fiscal year. They didn't, instead of a calendar year, so I had to resubmit the thing. So I have to redo that data into the system for that. And then as far as the rest is concerned, it's really more just fine-tuning account codes and classification of a couple things, and working with them to get us a chart of accounts that I really like.
You said somebody's here from Encode?
Yeah, he's not here now.
Oh,
he just
okay.
left.
Okay, all right, very good.
I told him he could come in and say hi to everybody, but he said, no, I think I'm going to leave.
Yeah, I wanted to meet him. When is the audit exit interview? Any idea?
I don't believe we've specified a date yet. I
Okay.
don't remember identifying a date with our auditors.
Sometime in December, probably. Is that correct?
I would expect after we've finished the last of the audit, they may still have a couple more questions for us, a couple more things to review before they're ready to say, let's have the exit interview.
Okay, very good.
But as far as I know at this time, they have everything they need and everything looks good.
Very good. Thank you and everybody in your department for the work that you dedicated to that. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any questions for the commission? All right. I'll take it up to you, Anna.
Sure. I'd like to introduce Ms. Brianna Lara, our administrative assistant. She is actually, I could say a few things about her. She is the youngest of her family, the youngest child. She is actually working towards an accounting degree, so that's
good.
something that she's working on as we speak. And this is actually her very first job.
Oh, very good.
awesome.
So, and she's doing a very great job so far. She's
Very
been
good.
with us since last month.
Welcome aboard.
Yes,
Thank you.
welcome.
Welcome.
Very good. Good to have you here.
And Gary, you can't have her after she
No,
comes.
she's not.
Thank you.
She might want to go to him, though.
No.
Okay. All right, very good. Anything else, Ms. Waters?
Yes, just a thank you for allowing myself and Ms. Shannon, Deputy City Clerk, to go to election school. It went very well. Looking forward to the election, so excited. And then HR law, so thank you again for that. I went to that last Thursday.
What was it again?
HR law.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about those. The election school and then
The election
HR law.
school, well, it was a 2.5-day process. Lots of information. We received lots of backup information too, because with it being with so many dates, we got a calendar. It has step by step. So next commission meeting, we'll have our election resolution. We have a candidate filing date, which will be January 9th. And then we also will, election day will be March 6th. So.
Very good.
I was fixing to ask you that question. I'm glad
Yes,
you got
sir.
it.
On it.
I'm glad you're listening in class.
HR law class also helps quite a bit, is that correct?
Yes, it wasn't what I really was expecting, but it was good. It was good. It just, I wanted specifics, but it was still very helpful. It was very helpful. I wanted something more specific geared to maybe just procedure, I guess you could say, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. All right,
But
very good.
it was really informative, very informative.
Good. Maybe something else will come up later on.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Very good. All right. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Commissioner Sanchez, anything from
I
your
got nothing
perspective?
to report today.
All right. All right. Commissioner Butcher.
I guess I do. First, I was going to ask on the theater, how would it coming on the new seats as being? I guess I would direct that to Miss Starr.
We officially have all the old seats out of the auditorium. We have a crew that was donated their time and labor putting in the new anchors. We have half of it done, roughly, and the old anchors are already out of the way. We'll get the new floor painted. We've got the auditorium walls painted. The new seats, we've got it all measured out because we have cut down the number from seating 350 to probably around 200 because of the new seats are wider, cup holders, all that good stuff.
Do you have a projection date maybe when we might?
I was hoping for the weekend after Thanksgiving, but to give the floor paint enough time to dry and everything, we'll probably open December 1st. Is the date we're looking at.
December 1st.
Yes. Anything else?
That's awesome then.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
And one more thing, I guess this right here is, I've noticed, on 17th Street, we've got the dozers out there clearing off the deal. James had informed me. We're doing that every Monday, correct? Trying to get that site clean.
Yes, Mayor Commissioners, that's on Mondays we have the street yard out there grubbing some of the mesquite for the remaining 15 acres that we have. Hopefully we can get the area prepped just so we can have some open space for folks to use.
Thank you for that.
Anything else, Commissioner?
I'm done.
Okay, all right. James, would you tell us about the disc golf tournament that's on the horizon?
Yes, sir. Mayor Commissioners, the disc golf course come along. We just got our tee signs in today.
Good.
Crystal, would you come up? Crystal has actually been the lead on this as far as city staff. Of course, we've had tons of volunteer help as well, but she can actually elaborate more on what's going to happen this weekend.
They did, Hobbs has got with the PDGA, which is the Professional Disc Golf Association. They're going to have a sanctioned tournament there in Hobbs, and their plan was to use the Lovington course for its, basically it's going to be the first tournament played there because we're just barely getting everything done. But it's going to be at 1 o'clock on Saturday. So yeah, you guys come out and see what it's about. And we've been working really hard to get that course.
Thank you, Crystal. Could you, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but could you maybe remember the names of the volunteers that have helped so far? I'd like to hear who they are and thank them publicly for their help.
Okay, Eric Hernandez, Rudy Rubio, Marshall, I can't remember Marshall's last name. He runs the disc golf club in Hobbs. Several of his players, I know a bunch of them by their first names, and a bunch of their kids, my dad, me, Laura Brock, and of course we've gotten help from Wyatt providing us a place to build structures, and the street department delivering concrete over to us, and Parks Department for just letting us use the mules and having us out there and doing everything. So there's been quite a few people that have put in a lot of help.
I saw the Gomez's out there also.
Yes.
Mike Gomez.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. Well, all right, tell them we said thank you for that.
I will.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate you. All right, I didn't have, I'm sorry.
I have one thing to add to that. I know that this project has been volunteer driven as well, but we also have Holly Frontier to thank. They've provided a substantial contribution by replacing all of the baskets to where we could actually have a 36-hole course in addition to a practice tee. I know that this weekend is kind of a soft opening, but we had already discussed that we want to make sure that we coordinate an official ribbon cutting and grand opening. That way we can have representatives from Holly Frontier here so we can actually recognize them. We also have a couple of other private donors, but I know that the majority of this project couldn't have been done without the assistance we received from Holly Frontier and all of our volunteers.
Okay.
But we'll let the public know when that official ribbon cutting will be.
I believe we have some representatives, like you said, from Holly Frontier. Would you mind coming up, Eloy? Would you mind coming up? We're putting everybody on the spot today.
I almost didn't make it. Questions for Holly Frontier?
No, I just wanted to thank you publicly for
no, we
for all
definitely we try to help the community any way we can, right? Obviously, there's some that we can't, but we definitely try to help the community, kids, schools, anything we can. So we're very much involved with the community, more so now that we have been in the past, and that was one of our biggest goals, to get more involved with the community.
We noticed that, Eloy, and we want to thank you and Holly Frontier for all the assistance and help that we get to the kids in the schools. Like you said, we noticed that. We appreciate that, and of course with the city as well. So thank you very much.
And I will take that message back
Please
to my
do.
superiors. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
If I will, before he sits down,
Yes.
the theater also would like to make sure to thank Holly Frontier. They were the ones that provided the trucks to go get our new seats.
Oh, fantastic.
It was a huge
Yes, I heard that.
So thank you so much for our work.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Commissioner Sanchez, you have something?
Yeah, I forgot to ask you a question. They are selling those seats, right?
Yes, they're already all sold. They're,
Oh, they are,
they're
okay.
gone.
Well,
And the ones that weren't good, they're being trashed. But we have resold quite a few, and we hope to hear back from them to see what they've done with those seats. And we have a roll that was donated to the museum, so they've all been distributed.
very good. Good job. Good job in selling all those seats.
Thank you.
And that, I was gonna ask also now, the money from the sale of the seats is, we're gonna throw that in the kitty, or is it gonna go, what's it gonna go towards?
It's mainly going towards to help with the installation of the new seats. We do have the new anchors, the new floor work, just to help with the cost of that is what the seat sales went towards.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
That's
And then just back towards the theater in any other way it can.
It's good.
Very good.
Thank you.
All right, that's all I have. Commissioner Trujillo.
I'm good, thank you.
All right. Chief Rodriguez.
Just a quick update, since Eloy's here, I've already talked to Manny about it. I just wanted to thank Holly Frontier again. They did assist us with the purchase of 3 pedal drunk carts with goggles that we are implementing into the schools to try to do some of this impaired driving and try to get them ahead of the curve.
Very good. All right. Thank you again. Eloy. Pass that on to your employers and employees. Thank you. Chief Lizardo.
Nothing to answer.
All right. James.
Yes, sir. If you didn't get a chance to go out to the Arts and Crafts Fair this weekend, it was actually, I thought, well attended. I went out there willingly with my wife. That's on public record, but I did go out there. So Leslie did a good job bringing that together. In addition to that, we do have, we noticed in the newspaper, Wreaths Across America will be December 16th out at both of our cemeteries. And I know that they always ask for volunteers in the community to help lay those wreaths out. I don't know as far as any fundraising efforts. I believe it's still, just lost who the coordinator is.
The
I'll
one
get
was
that
last time, Eubanks?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, the one Eubanks. She coordinates that, so I'm not sure if they're still soliciting donations for that. I'm sure they are. In addition to that, we did release the Love in Washington improvements to fix the strip of Love Street between Central and Washington and Washington to Eddy. We did release that bid package today. It'll be published in tomorrow's paper with, I believe the bid opening date is November 30th. So we hope to get started on that project fairly quickly as well. And that's all I have, sir.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Patrick, words of wisdom from you, sir.
Nothing to report tonight.
You keep holding back on us.
Yes, sir.
You're saving it for a rainy day, I guess. Huh?
Exactly.
All right. Very good. All right. Thank you. Appreciate your input. All right. We'll go into public comment. Anybody that wishes to address the commission may do so at this time. If you would just step up to the podium, identify yourself, and if you would just keep your comments to about 3 minutes or less. Thank you.
Crystal Ball, Planning and Zoning. I wanted to talk about, we're doing the, do you recall the recycled art contest we did last year? It's that time of year again, so we're doing that recycled art contest again, and that'll be this Saturday from 1 to 3. So I've got all kinds of events going on this weekend. But yeah, we actually did get tickets donated from Malwolf to take the winners to Santa Fe to the Malwolf. So
Tell us about
interesting.
that. Tell us about the project.
Okay, so the recycled art contest, any recycled materials, use it to build some type of artwork. Last year we had a lot of really neat ideas. The mannequin with the newspaper dress, the dress was made completely out of newspapers, old newspapers. They had another person, like a whole body was built out of soda cans and then covered with different things. And we had a lamp made out of old plastic spoons, a whole lamp. It was pretty neat, you know. Just had a newspaper rolled into real small spirals and a little mirror in the mirror. Just made a pretty wall hanging. I mean, there was a lot of neat things.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner.
I'll probably ask city manager. This is concerning recycling.
Mm-hmm.
We don't recycle. We still do the cardboard, right?
Yes, sir.
Newspapers.
Yes, sir.
Is there any way that we could recycle, like bottles, plastic bottles, different things? I got a brother that came in from California last week, and you know, every bottle we threw, said, "Wow, you're throwing away 5 cents," or you know. I said, "Well, you can have it if you want." But, you know, there's a lot of bottles that we can recycle around here. You know, bottled waters, all that. If there was some way we could recycle them, and whatever money would come in, the city could use for whatever, you know, general fund or something.
Mayor and Commissioners, I know we've had this discussion several times. We had a vendor at one point who was willing to come in at no charge to the city to take those recyclables, but he's never come back to us. Part of it is, one, the collection, but then also where does it get hauled to? If I'm correct, the closest recycling centers are in Albuquerque and Las Cruces.
Yeah, and Roswell's a collector right there. Yeah.
I know that with the RFP coming out for trash services, we had looked at potentially having in there an alternate component to provide recycling services to the community. So that would, as part of the new contract that we have. So I know we've discussed it with waste management, but a lot of it is logistics. Where does it get shipped to? We do have down at the landfill with the Solid Waste Authority, I know that we had talked about some recycling areas for when it does reach the landfill, but as far as collecting it here and then roading it down there, that's another component that we haven't quite reached that point yet.
Well, if there was somewhere we could get somebody to get them, you know, it'd be great.
Yes, sir.
They could be used for something.
I know in the past it always been the volume and the cost factor. Cost of transporting and the volume you collect. I think that was it was just a cost factor. That's why they did away with it in the past. It's just not enough accumulates around here. Like California, they got big municipalities, millions of people, and then you get the volume there, and it helps with the cost. But around here, the volume and the cost of transporting it was, I think that was the biggest factor.
It looks like there's more people drinking water now than ever before, really.
Yeah,
so the volume is probably doubled or tripled since that time, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good point because, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the more bottles that people drink, the more they throw away. I saw a documentary the other day, and it was about the Arctic region where it's basically uninhabited by people. And there were volunteers having to travel there to clean I guess the beaches, the areas of land where there was so much pollution from bottled waters or plastics or things that people just throw into the rivers. It ends up in the ocean, and then the undercurrent takes it all the way up to the North Pole. And it's all our fault. So we never even think about that, but it's true. It'd be nice if we could do something here to kind of alleviate that problem. But it's a huge problem. It really is, and it affects the wildlife, birds, the natural inhabitants of that area. So it's a huge problem. It really is. Thank you for that, Commissioner.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Leslie Everson with the Chamber of Commerce. I want to introduce my new assistant, Marisol. I know.
Come on up, Marisol. Come on up. Don't be shy. This is on the spot day.
I know.
You're next.
I'm very excited to have her, and she's going to be a huge asset to the team. And if I'm not available, Marisol will be there. And so far, so good. She's been kind of thrown into it, and she's doing a great job so far. So I'd like to welcome her to the mayor and the commissioners and the city.
Marisol, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself before you walk away?
Well, I'm pretty amazing. No, I'm just kidding. I'm born and raised here in Lovington, so I'm a true Wildcat here. I've single mom of two. I mean, I've been a Relay for Life director. I'm very involved. I pretty much just love doing anything for the community, anything here for Lovington, and so I feel like this job would be great for me just because I put my heart into Lovington, and I'm always ready to see it grow. When my kids get older, I want to, make sure that there's always something available here in this town, even though it's small. I mean, we all know each other, and we're pretty much all family, so that's what's the good part about it.
Welcome to our family.
Thank you.
A couple of things I want to update you on. The Fall Festival just ended, and we had a great response from all our crafters and vendors, and we're looking forward to November 3rd and 4th, 2018. It's going to be the first weekend of November. We've already booked the date, and we've already had some responses from the vendors that they will be here next year. So we were really excited about that. We have the Electric Light Parade coming up for the City of Lovington, December 7th. It's a Thursday. We had a meeting with the chief, and they've got their end all taken care of. And he did tell me the route this year, which is the same route as it always has been, which I didn't know that, so I think I've got it down. Also contacted Lee County Electric, and they will have the lights off, so they're on board for that. So we're looking for a great light parade. Also the day before, we are going to have the open house at the Troy Harris building. We're having co-hosting it with Main Street and the Economic Development Corporation, and the invitations will follow. But we just wanted to give you a heads up that all the new initiatives and some of the things that we're planning for 2018, hopefully we'll have some presentations and some stuff that everyone can see. Some of the direction that we want to head next year, and also some of the community events for next year. So we look forward to everyone coming out for that, and that'll be December 6th from 3 to 7. Also, I do like to thank Lee County Electric and also our Parks Department. This Thursday we'll be hanging our wreaths. We are getting them ready. Lee County Electric will be hanging them after 8 o'clock, and the Parks Department has been working hand in hand with us, making sure everything's ready to go. So Christmas is just around the corner, so hopefully the holiday shoppers can get out and see just a really festive town.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief, what is that route? Could you refresh our memory?
It'll go south on 11th. It'll turn west on Avenue I, in front of the Good Sam, and it'll turn back north on 17th, and then it'll head east on D to Main and D, and it'll head north.
Wow. Okay. Very good. All right.
Same path.
Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I just wanted to give you all a couple of updates on things that are going to happen for us. Tomorrow we have our workshop for growing local talent. That wonderful title was given to us by the city mayor. And it's going to be just a 2-day work session trying to give everybody information on how to start a business. We'll have Anna and Crystal there, as well representing the city in terms of how to get a business license, what does the zoning mean for commercial and that kind of stuff. We're also coordinating with a couple of other entities such as Lovington EDC, the Lovington Chamber, Small Business Development Center, and then we'll have some representatives from New Mexico Main Street as well, and some of the local banks, just trying to give everyone all the information possible on how to start a business. And that'll be tomorrow starting at 3, from 3 to 6, and then Wednesday from 3 to 7. And then next Saturday, of course, is Shop Small Saturday, so encouraging everyone to shop local, because we're not trying to support corporations, we're trying to support our local business owners. And then finally, we also will have cocoa and cookies with Santa on December the 7th, and that'll be before and after the light parade. We will also have a special performance from the Iron Dolls, which is a traveling cheer team, and then the honor choir will also be there, and we're trying to get the bell choir out there as well. So a couple of performances during the cocoa and cookies. That way there's a variety of things for everyone to do, and that'll end up for a year.
Very good. I really appreciate the fact that what you mentioned, that you and the EDC and the Chamber are working together on various projects. I think that's great. I encourage you to continue doing that.
It's been really good. I think October 5th I kind of started it, and we saw how that teamwork really does work, so
yes, thanks.
It's been good.
Anybody else? All right, seeing as nobody else is stepping up, we'll continue on. We'll go into non-action items. Discussion of the LCFA board appointment. James. I'm sorry. Mine says LCFA. ETZ.
Oh,
yeah, okay. ETZ, I stand corrected. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yes, Mayor Commissioners, we have our ETZ Commission, where the city appoints 3 members. It's for a 1-year term. The current terms expire on December 31st. Right now we have Steve Carr, Julia Myers, and Betty Price, who are the current members. So we will have this as an action item at the November, or the last meeting in November. So we'll advertise for interested parties to apply.
All right, very good. Thank you. Any questions from the commission? No. Okay. Anything, Commissioner?
No.
All right, very good. Let's see if I get this right. Discussion of senior citizen board appointments. Is that correct, James?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Right now we have 4 individuals whose terms will, 2-year terms will expire at the end of December on our senior citizens board. Those individuals are Fred Browning, Shirley Choke, Joyce Drury, and Henry Gutierrez. So we will have those positions advertised as well, with appointments for consideration in the last meeting of this month.
All right, very good. Anything else, James, on that?
No, sir.
All right, very good. We'll go on to action items now. Do we have a motion?
Oh, excuse me. I make a motion we consider approval of ordinance number 556, amends Title 10, Chapter 10.04, New Mexico Uniform Traffic Ordinance Update.
I'll second that.
We have a second, James.
Mayor and Commissioners, this ordinance has been advertised as required. This is just adopting the state traffic code and the updates that were passed this last legislative session, which is more definitions on autocycles, updating some school bus language, updating language approaching emergency vehicle right-of-way, off-highway vehicle requirements, and then lamp and illumination restrictions, and update just to that language.
Just curious, what was the update on the approaching emergency vehicle update? Chief, do you know?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I honestly can't remember off the top of my head what that was.
I was just curious. All right, very good. Any discussion by the commission? An auto cycle. You know anything about that, James?
It's like a 3-wheeled, the slingshot? It's like a slingshot. It's not quite a car. It's not quite well, I guess you could say it's half and half car, half motorcycle.
Yeah.
So those have been
Three-wheel?
around the past 3 updates that we've had, they've had language to update the restrictions and use and different definitions they have for that type of vehicle.
Okay. Interesting. All right, very good. Any questions? Any other questions by the commission? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. I'll entertain another motion.
Make a motion we consider resolution 2017-123, award of Love Street Baseball Complex restroom remodel bid.
Second.
We have a second. James.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, this is actually the 3rd time that we have gone out to bid for this particular project to actually get our restrooms at the Love Street baseball field in working order, as well as complying with ADA requirements. So we did open these bids, or we did receive these bids after a 3rd attempt at advertising. We received 2, one from Abel Martinez Construction and one from Impact Construction. Now, we actually only had one qualified bidder, and that was Impact Construction. Abel Martinez did submit a bid for $58,880, as you can see on the screen, that actually included an alternate. Now, what the primary purpose of the bid was to increase the amount of room in the restroom, the pre-existing restrooms that are in a cinder block complex, which would involve moving an interior wall to meet the actual square footage and space requirements, replace the commode, replace the sink to meet ADA standards, actually replace the soffit all the way around and a complete repainting of all of the exterior of the entire structure to include the exterior of the concession stand, and some electrical and plumbing movements. We did incorporate in there an alternate that they could feel free to bid on, which included replacement of the evaporative cooler in the restroom, as well as a new hand washing sink and general purpose sink, drywall repainting, kind of just a facelift to the concession stand. Mr. Martinez did include the alternate in his bid. He did not, when he submitted it on our bids, we have a uniform bid form that in the instructions it says you have to submit your bid on this form. You can include any additional supplemental documentation that you feel free. Mr. Martinez did not submit that on that form. That is an irregularity we could waive. After talking with the finance director, we can waive that. However, state law requires that on a public works project that's greater than $25,000, you have to submit a bid bond or offer 5% bid security, which he did not. So he was not qualified, and there's no way around that. Impact Construction, they did submit their bid. You can see it was about $1,069.75 higher than Mr. Martinez's bid. It did not include the alternate work. So we have 2 choices. We can either award the bid to Impact, the only qualified bidder. We could evaluate these projects the bids did come in under our anticipated budget, and the alternate work could be stuff that was done by staff or just through an electrical subcontractor, because it would be well below what the requirement for a bid threshold would be. The second option is to not award these bids or reject these bids because we want to get more than one qualified bidder for the project. So the cons to both of those solutions, as far as awarding the bid, yes, we are awarding it to somebody who did bid higher, and it's not including the alternate work, so we don't get more bang for your buck. As far as rejecting both of these bids and going back out to bid again, we run the risk of not having anybody respond. This was the 3rd attempt. And also, we're kind of under a tight time frame. We need to have this work done prior to April 1st because that's when our baseball season starts. So we're looking at anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks once we award the bid to have the contractors submit the plans and the permits to the state. We're looking at a 6 to 8 week turnaround time just because of the permitting process. And due to advertisements and the timing of our meetings, we would be looking at not awarding the bid, the rebid, I guess you would say, till December 11th. And so that would push the beginning of the project probably to, at the latest, the beginning of February, leaving only about an 8-week construction time. Best case scenario, we would go back out to bid and hopefully get in the same area price-wise, but there may actually be an increase due to the shorter time that they have to work. Both options are doable.
What's your recommendation? On the spot, Dave.
I would like to see all of the work get done, but I mean, we are taking the risk that honestly, if we can't get another bid, or if we have no responses on the next bid from qualified respondents, we may have to push the project into the next fiscal year just because of the league seasons.
Discussion by the board. Yes, sir.
On that, you said that we could waive Mr. Martinez's deal. Would that still be okay with the state?
He wasn't wanted.
Mayor, Commissioners, no, on one, not submitting on the bid form, that's one of our local requirements. We could waive that. However, the second irregularity he had in his bid was he did not provide a bid bond or bid security, and we cannot waive that. That's actually state law.
Commissioners.
I think we ought to just take it back out.
Yeah, I'd like to, since both bidders did not meet the expectation of the board, I'd like to retract my motion to deny both bids due to unqualified bids.
You want to modify your motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would you state your motion as the modified?
Yes, sir. Modify that motion.
Would you state it, Commissioner, please?
Yeah, I'd like to make the motion. I modify my bid to deny both bids due to unqualified bids. Does that sound good enough, Pat?
Modify your motion to reject both bids?
I just stated that. Yes, sir.
And I second it.
We have a second?
Yeah.
All right.
Does that sound good, Patrick?
Yeah, I guess one way to do it could be not to, just go to vote on your motion, and then that way you don't need a second, and nobody approves, and so that's probably the cleanest way to go.
On the initial motion?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we can do that.
Okay.
You guys clear to vote? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, my.
We're voting on the initial motion.
Because he goes, everybody good to go. And
I'll clarify it. The vote is going to be on passing or accepting one of the bids in reference to the initial motion that was made. So if we want to reject it, you vote however you wish. But let's try that again. Are we okay, Patrick?
Yeah, based on the conversation, I think we'll wind up in the same place as what the proposed amended motion was. So.
Yeah. We're voting on the initial motion that was made and seconded. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, say aye.
Aye.
I say aye. I'm opposed to it, so I don't know what to say. But
Okay. If you're opposed,
it was
you're
a
going to
mass
say aye.
confusion on that almost.
If you're opposed to awarding the bid, then you want to vote in the negative. Correct, Patrick?
Yes.
Okay. So how many negative votes? Let's do a roll call. Okay, would you please?
Commissioner Trujillo?
No.
Commissioner Butcher?
No.
Commissioner Sanchez? And Mayor Campos?
No. Are we clear?
Yes.
Patrick? Okay, very good.
Paul was making everybody confused on that.
I think you were confused enough. Okay. Do I have another motion?
I make the motion we consider resolution 2017-124, approval of police department uniform policy update.
I'll second that.
All right, James or Chief? All right, F.A.
It's the same policy that was presented at the last commission meeting to you for your consideration. And for any questions?
Regarding the tattoos?
That is correct.
Okay, all right, very good. Any other issues that you see since we've had the last discussion?
No, sir. Like I said, it was the last commission meeting. It was presented to our legal and the city manager.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, any other questions by the commission? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Do we have another motion?
Make a motion we consider resolution 2017-125, approval of zoning change in extraterritorial zone from R-1 residential suburban to a tract of land located on section 7, township 17 south, range 37 east.
Second.
We have a second. James?
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, we actually have a request from the owner of property. It's located on Stiles Road, about a mile east of New Mexico 18. They are currently looking, an individual is currently looking at purchasing the property, and they want to actually utilize it for a small-scale feedlot operation. When we annexed in all of the city property up to Stiles Road, this did move that property into the ETZ, and it was automatically assigned a residential designation. We brought this issue to the ETZ Commission at their last meeting, and they did recommend that we go ahead and approve that zoning change. The adjacent properties have been notified of the potential zoning change, so should this body approve that recommendation tonight, then it would go to the ETZ authority for their final approval.
All right. Any questions, concerns by the commission? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Do we have another motion?
Yes, I'd like to consider resolution 2017-126. Consider approval of ambulance billing software contract.
Second.
We have a second. James?
Sure. Mayor and Commissioners, this billing software is the same software that we currently use. However, they have changed their format, and they're going to a web-based or a cloud-based server. So everything will be taking over, and the one that we have currently is obsolete. So now we have to advance over into this cloud-based system.
All right, very good. And your recommendation is to approve, is that right, Chief?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. Any discussion by the commission? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Do we have another motion?
Make a motion we consider accounts payable.
Second.
We have a second. Gary?
If I may, your mayor and commission, our single largest expenditure was to the Waste Management Authority for $256,000. That was two payments all at once for a regular monthly type payment that we normally do. Really don't have a whole lot more to add to that. So if you have any specific questions, I'm ready to answer them.
I just had a couple. Gary, I noticed that there's a charge for rekeying the MVD. Is there a reason why we had to do that?
Which page is that on?
The very first page, the fourth line, or fourth entry, after hours locksmith.
Oh, okay. Yeah, in short, we've had a couple of the employees that lost their keys. I thought it'd be wise to go ahead and have them rekeyed for that reason.
Okay. All right. And also, and I'll let you guys ask here in just a second. Under Henninghausen and Olson, legal rights protest, we paid $3,601.72. Can you tell us what that was about, Gary?
Yes, if I may pass that on to the city manager.
All right, very good.
Mayor Commissioners, that's for our two of our water rights protests. One was, I believe it was with Excel, and the other one was the ongoing one with Ms. Ortega.
Okay, all right, very good. Thank you. And JARS Services, LLC, the ACO cleanup and abatement. What are we abating there? Yes.
Mayor Commissioners, those are a couple of the properties where we are unable to get a hold, code enforcement's unable to get a hold of. Any of the property owner is for weed and grass removal. So our code allows us to actually file a notice with that individual by posting it at the property or mailing it to the owner of record, giving them X amount of days to comply with that. Should they not, then we have a contractor who goes out there and they do the property cleanup. We send the owner the bill. then I believe they have 15 days to pay the bill in full, and then if they don't, we file a lien on the property.
Very good. All right, thank you for clearing that up. Appreciate that. Anybody else, any other questions by the commission? Okay. Anything else, commissioners?
Going through it. Yeah, what are we getting from Higginbotham? There's quite a few, 8,500 something on supplies, or what kind of supplies? Ladder?
I would sum it up to say just general operating supplies for a variety of departments, predominantly parks, recreation, streets department, and also the water department.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, Commissioner Sanchez, a lot of that also is for concrete for our disc golf course.
Concrete for what?
The disc golf course, we had to build tee pads, 36 of them.
So we mixed our own?
Yes, sir.
Good.
That's labor.
Thank you, Crystal.
Yeah, Crystal.
Yeah. You're good, Commissioner?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay, here we go again. The boots, Barton Boot Company. What kind of boots are we getting? Cowboy boots or work boots or?
Mayor, Commissioners, these are the safety toe work boots. So whether they are the cowboy style boot or a lace-up boot, they're safety toe. And slip-proof.
What's this drinking water loan interest, or whatever it says there?
We have two loans, and this one's a drinking water loan with the Department of Finance Authority. This was for the, we have semi-annual payments. In this particular case, it was just the interest that was paid. So every 6 months we make a payment. And it's because of the upgrade to something to do with our drinking water in the wells and to give us better drinking water. But we had to borrow this money back in 2007, I believe it was.
It's too quiet for her. You know, last time we paid Tom's Sharp Straw about $600. Now we've got $545. Is it for the same thing we're sharpening, or is it other things we're sharpening, or?
No, Mayor, Commissioners, that's just the name of the business. We buy our like weed eaters or weed weed trimmers, what I can actually expect?
Actually, the parks department, streets, water, wastewater, all departments, public works and not, we, so the general work that's on our weed eaters and purchasing new ones, the blowers, the two-cycle mix or anything that is, or the chainsaws or chainsaw work that's being done.
Valentine on service, 14,000, what were we fixing?
I'm sorry, what was that, sir?
Valentine's Auto.
Yeah.
That's,
Last page.
that is gonna be the two cars that, when we had that last rainstorm, that the engines blew out on. Replace the tranny and everything else. Those cars, the Dodge Chargers, have the intake on the bottom, so when they go through water, it sucks it all in.
Got a long list.
Anything else, Commissioner?
Yeah, I told James the other day, they didn't pick up my truck. I hope they don't charge me for it. Last week, sure didn't. I mean, if they do, I'll make them take it off.
Let me know if that works for you.
They didn't pick it up. I mean, they said they were a day late, and actually they must have been a week late because they never picked it up.
All right.
So anyway, we'll see what happens.
Okay, all right. Anything else from anybody else from the commission? No. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Do we have another motion?
I make a motion, we go to closed session pursuant to section 10-15-1 NMSA 1978 subsection H-8 regarding the purchase, acquisition, or disposition of real property or water rights, lease of city commercial property.
We have a second. Roll call, please, Ms. Juarez.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Commissioner Butcher?
Yes.
And Mayor Campos?
Yes, we will now go into closed session.
So.
session. Item discussing.
It is cold.
Session. It's,
Which a lot of this
I know what I was discussing.
Okay. Warm it up.
Warm it up for it.
Evelyn's waiting for me to give her a
Music.
tin back.
That's all you're waiting on.
Wow. Musical chair?
It's cold in here. That's what I was telling the guys. That I'm cold, man.
Y'all should have been in here with the door closed. It was heat.
He's the only one that's warm.
I'm very warm.
Do we have another motion?
Sir.
I make a motion that we go back into regular session. The matters discussed in the closed session were limited only to those specified in the motion for closure and that no action was taken.
We have a second. Roll call, please. Ms. Hanna?
Commissioner Sanchez,
Yes.
Commissioner Butcher,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
and Mayor Campos.
Yes. All right. Seeing that there's nothing else on the agenda that I now have, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.